Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Um, I'm going to be doing a review for Bohemian Rhapsody. I just recently saw it, and I wanted to see it in theaters, but it at the time it was not a movie that had garnered my interest, even though I am a Queen fan. I admit it just did not have the interest level. It did not pique my interest at the time. And that is something that I actually regret. I wish I had seen it in theaters because I would have gotten a bigger experience out of it. And when I watched this movie today, I enjoyed it immensely. How you doing, Happy? So basically, for those of you who don't know who Queen is, they're only one of the best bands in the world, in my opinion. The movie was called Bohemian Rhapsody, and it was based on the life of the band Queen, but also focused on Freddie Mercury, the lead singer. And for those of you who don't know, he was bisexual, and he died of AIDS back in 1991. I don't know why I felt the need to clarify that. But the music that him and the rest of the members of Queen released was some of the most iconic music that I have ever heard. Songs like I Want It All, Bohemian Rhapsody. And I will honestly be 100% honest, folks. I'm doing well. Happy. Thank you. And thank you for sharing. Also, make sure to smash that like button, folks. It helps the channel out more than you know. Now, I will be 100% honest with you, folks. Bohemian Rhapsody, the song, is not one of my top favorites. It is an iconic song. Do not get me wrong. It is an iconic song, but it is not one that I would consider one of my top favorites from Queen. Now, objectively speaking, this movie is 4 out of 5. This is a good movie. It was well done. The acting was very well performed. Rami Malek plays Freddie Mercury very well. The other actors who portrayed the band members of Queen were very well selected. The writing for this movie was very well done. They actually had Richard Taylor, or Brian Taylor, or is it Brian May? And anyway, they had the drummer and the lead guitarist. I screw up their names a lot. I'm sorry about that. But they had the lead guitarist and the drummer of the band Queen involve themselves in this movie. And they made this movie make sure that it was well crafted. The music is phenomenal in this movie. Rami Malek's acting as Freddie Mercury in this movie is amazing. And I gotta say that I honestly, learning what you learn in this movie about the rise of Freddie Mercury, the tragedy that happened in his life, the drugs, the alcohol, the AIDS, and all that, it really sucks that a person who is such a talented singer had passed away. Now, I was only 6 years old when he passed away, but I grew up listening to songs from Queen. I absolutely love the Highlander music that they did. It's a Kind of Magic is actually one of my favorite songs from Queen. My all-time favorite song from Queen is I Want It All. And I have their greatest hits. I love their music. it's just, I love a lot of their music. And the story basically goes from Freddie Mercury. A lot of people thought he was Pakistani originally, but he's not. He came from Zanzibar. His family did. And they grew, or his name, or he changed his name from Farouk to Freddie, and then he had his last name changed legally to Mercury. And they kind of set it up as if it's kind of a snipe at his parents, but I don't really think it was, in my interpretation of the movie. I think it was basically he wanted a name that popped out, that was going to be known, that would be, or that is not as boring as a real name. Now, it's not a stage name. He actually did have it changed legally, or as the movie portrays it. And the actors who played the band of Queen, the one who plays Brian May, was, holy crap, they did the hair right. The amount of research and dedication that went into this movie is phenomenal. I watched some of the special features, and I gotta say, it is one of the best prepared movies. I mean, the stuff that they did for this movie was pretty much almost on scale with something like Lord of the Rings, where you did a ton of research for the movies, where you, down to the clothing, down to the writing, down to the acting, you were immersing yourself into the life of Freddie Mercury and the band that is Queen. And they take you through all the ups and all the downs. And the climax of the movie, it starts from 1970 and travels all the way to 1985. Even though Freddie Mercury died in 1991, the highlight that was Queen was when they went to Live Aid of 1985, back in July of 85. I was only 5 or 6 months old when Live Aid 85 happened. So I was just heading back to the States from Germany, where I was born. My family was basically just bringing us back right after Live Aid happened. Now, that's where the movie climaxes, and then at the end it gives you montages of Freddie Mercury's, basically the conclusion of Freddie Mercury's life. His wife, or rather fiance, her name was Mary. And good afternoon, Jeff. She, even though it didn't work between them, they stayed lifelong friends, and she was the anchor to Freddie Mercury. If, in my opinion, in my observational opinion, she was an anchor to Freddie. And when they were not together, after he realized he was bisexual, I was born there, but I am an American citizen. My parents are both American citizens and whatnot. I'm basically an Army brat. But anyway, when she was not there is basically, and also I would actually go as far as to say the fame and the allure of men did cause problems between Freddie and his wife, or fiance wife, Mary. But they still managed to stay friends. They still managed to stay in contact. But when she found that he was on a rapid decline after the band did their first breakup, I just made a mark cross. Yes, you did. And when he tried going solo at the behest of, in the movie, his gay lover Paul, who ruined or who actually damaged his career because he was into more of the partying and the fame. He was basically just riding Freddy's fame train, basically. And after Freddy finally realizes that Paul was the problem, Paul literally threatens him. He's like, do you know how many photos I got and what I could do to you? And he's like, you could do all that stuff, but promise me one thing. Never let me see your face again. And Freddy then went to his band and he apologized. He basically prostrated before them, saying that he was willing to flagellate himself before him and everything. And when he finally realized that he had AIDS, he also he told them flat out, it's between us right now. I have AIDS. He openly admitted it. This movie was just done so well that it's not even a documentary. It's not. This is a movie that basically shows that the life of Freddie Mercury, but put on the big screen. And I gotta say that the movie, objectively, without bias, it is a 4 out of 5. I would give it an honest 4 out of 5, a 9 out of 10. Or 8 out of 10. Maybe even a 4.5 out of 5. A 9 out of 10. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5, objectively. This movie was that good. And it's not like the normal flashy action movies that I prefer, but this movie about a band that I have listened to for most of my life is a very well done movie. And it was a very touching movie in certain areas too. If it's a 9.5, that would mean it would be a 4.8. How you doing, Crack Skull? Or how you doing, Crack Skull? It's good to see you, man. But yes, this movie was very well done. Rami Malek was the perfect choice for Freddie Mercury. The guy that they got for the lead guitarist of Queen, Brian May, was almost a freaking spitting image when he had the hair on to look like Brian May. Spitting image almost when de-aged. They have enough real life material that they have like 12 more years. Yeah. You saw Freddie and Queen in DC in 78. Very cool, Jeff. But yeah, this movie kept me engaged. And for movies like that, not to keep me engaged, or they barely keep me engaged, movies that are not really flashy action and whatnot, it's hard to keep me engaged unless there's something that I really like, which in this case was the band Queen, and I was curious to know more about Freddie Mercury. And because the band was so invested in this movie and also so involved, Brian and Palmer, they made sure that this movie was protecting Freddie Mercury's legacy. That was one of the things I heard in the special features, was it was important for them to protect Freddie's legacy. And so they stayed in all the way from day one to wrap up of that movie, that they involved themselves. And I gotta say, I'm glad that they did, because I feel because of that, the movie was as accurate as it could be. Now, subjectively, the movie does not slow down at all. I gave it a 5 out of 5 subjectively. The movie is very well put together. It shows so much in the life of Freddie Mercury, his decline. It doesn't deviate like most people would nowadays. And a lot of people actually say it's woke. And one of the things I will say right now, this movie is not woke. This part of this movie, part of the life of Freddie Mercury, is he is gay. He is bisexual. He had sexual relationships with many people. And sadly, that did fall or lead to his death because of the AIDS. but he also contracted pneumonia, and because of him having the AIDS, he could not recover from it. Brian May says it's definitely possible for a sequel. Rami Malek is up for it. He got Best Actor. Yes, he did. I do remember that. It's the highest grossing biopic ever. Almost hit 1 billion, like 30 million from it. Damn. That is impressive by any standard of a biopic. I mean, I'm not going to look at Elton John's because Elton John's or the Rocket Man movie, because to me, Rocket Man kind of was trying to ride the coattails of Bohemian Rhapsody. But also, I'm not that big of an Elton John fan. I only like 3, maybe 4 of his songs total. But yes, this movie deserved every dollar it made. And even then some. It should have made $1 billion. Movie was great, Skull, agreeing with your rating. And one of the things that I said when somebody said it's woke, it's like, do you know who Freddie Mercury is? And they're like, yeah, he was the lead singer of Queen. Did you know he was gay or did you know he was bisexual and gay? They're like, yeah. I'm like, then this movie wasn't woke. That was part of the movie. It was part of the story. It was part of the storyline. He was bisexual to gay. And it shows the reality of Freddie Mercury's life. He got caught up in the fame, but he also found his way back, even though it was too late to save his life. Freddie Mercury's life is kind of a cautionary tale for AIDS and whatnot back then. It is a cautionary tale. Even though he didn't want it to be one, it is. But he also said, I don't want it getting out because I don't want to be a cautionary tale or a poster boy for AIDS or whatever. He wanted, it got a super late China and Japan release, edited, of course. Yeah, definitely edited because of the content, but it blew up over there. There's a massive fan base for Queen right now. And there should be. Queen is, even now, Bohemian Rhapsody is recognized as one of the best songs ever. Even though it's not one of my favorites from Queen. I still like the song. It's not one of my top 5, possibly not even my top 10. But still, that song was a song that, even back when it was first released, got trashed by critics. But when it was re-released, like some 16 years later, I think they said it was a #1 hit. And it was very much because Queen came back. And also the story of Freddie Mercury as well. But this movie, also moviegoers score is 5 out of 5. So yeah, how you doing, Tubian? True, just having a gay character doesn't make a movie woke, especially if they were in reality. Exactly. Now, because this movie was based on true events and whatnot, it's hard to actually make the woke argument. If the character is gay, then, and it's based on the true events of that person, if they weren't gay in real life and they made him gay in the movie, yeah, that would be woke. But because Freddie Mercury was who he was gay, and all that, it's not a woke movie. There's very little to actually know identity politics in this movie. The movie is what it is because that's who Freddie Mercury was. And so, yes, this movie gets a very high score on my subjective. It's a 5 out of 5. And a lot of people who I know are going to say, how do you not, or I thought you didn't like all the movies where gay people, and it's like, no, man, I don't mind gay. I don't mind LGBTQ. I support them, actually. But I do not support the minority of that movement when they push their agendas in movies for no reason other than to say, oh, we have representation. Gay representation has been around for over 104 years in Hollywood. If you don't believe me, look up the movie Vingarn, Vingarne. 1916 was the very first LGBTQ movie that had lesbianism in it. Just saying. But yes, this movie was so well put together. I swear to God, they had to go through a decade and a half of wardrobe changes, haircuts, and all that stuff. The dedication of this movie was phenomenal. This movie itself was phenomenal. And I do regret that I was not able to see it in theaters, like I said earlier. I wish that I could go back and say, or tell myself from 2 years ago, when this movie comes out, you get your ass to that theater so you can review it. You will love it. And I gotta say, Rami Malek's acting was very well done in this movie. The way that he came, or that he portrayed Freddie Mercury, earned high praise from the actual band members of Queen. It's like, holy shit, this movie is basically, it is us, so to speak. They actually made that analogy. 242 million in Asia, that's pretty good. I mean, considering the Midwest and some of Asia and whatnot, they are not into homosexuality and whatnot. Considering that, 242 million is a big number. It did blow up. And I gotta say, I am very happy that I chose to get this movie. I got it on Movies Anywhere. I got it from Amazon because it was on sale for $4.99. And I'm like, $4.99? This movie is like 2 years old and it's already down to $4.99. Fuck it, I'll grab it. And I grabbed it in a heartbeat. I snatched that movie up and I finally got it like 5 days ago. Hadn't watched it because I've been so busy. That's why there's been such a huge lack of content on my channel recently. It's because I have been busy, folks. But I try to get a video out as often as I can. But also, that's going to lead into the next part of my news. But before I get into that, I do want to give my final scores for the movie. Objectively, it is a 4.5 out of 5. Subjectively, it is a 5 out of 5. And moviegoer, it is a 5 out of 5. Truly do a good job with a biopic if family and friends and the person you biograph likes it. Well, the thing is, they did love it, or they loved it. And they did it because it was they were also invested in making that movie, so it protected the life and legacy of Freddie Mercury. In 1960, there was a movie called Some Like It Hot with Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis as musicians masquerading as women because they were witnesses to a mafia hit. Anyway, at the end, one character, that's going to be a second thingy. But yes, moving on to the other news of my channel, I have decided to cancel my Versus stream that's coming up on Friday. It was Naruto from Boruto, his Hokage at his peak power versus Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho. And the reason why I canceled it is twofold. One, I realized it is seriously a one-sided battle. And two, because there was very little interest in it. I was noticing that not a lot of people were interested in Yu Yu Hakusho and Naruto. I mean, Naruto is a very popular franchise and is a very popular anime, but not a lot of people have seen Yu Yu Hakusho, nor do they appreciate it as much as I do. So I am canceling that Versus stream. The next one is going to be in May, and it is going to be the Xenomorphs versus the Army of Mandalorians. It's going to be an army versus army this time, and it's going to be not just warrior aliens. It's going to be different xenomorphs. It's going to be different subspecies of xenomorphs. You got the ones that spit acid. You got the ones with the domed heads. You got the ones with the rigid heads. We'll even throw in some predaliens. there's going to be different species, not just the normal ones that everybody's used to in the movies. You're going to have different species like the ones that were in Colonial Marines game and the ones that were in AVP game. And we're going to do, and the Mandalorians are not going to be the Mandalorians from Disney, Star Wars, or Clone Wars. It's going to be EU Legends Mandalorians. 500 versus 500, and who's going to earn how well they're going to do. They're not going, or there's going to be no facehugger action in this movie, or in this battle, sorry. So this movie is basic, or I keep saying movie, I'm sorry. This versus stream that's going to be aiming for May 8th, I believe. It's the first Friday in May, I believe. Let me check my calendar. But anyway, yes, this so far we got Ryan Kinnell, an OG Star Wars, Ambassador, and Annihilus B. So we got 5 people already. So I am looking for one more person to join this stream. And it might be Mara Jade. I am going to reach out to her for that to see if she wants to be a part of it, because she is a huge EU fan. And I wanted bigger people for this one, like Ryan Kinnell and OG Star Wars, because they know the EU lore even better than I do. I am a huge EU fan, yes, but they know, or they really know their lore. I mean, I call OG Star Wars the queen of EU for a reason. And Ryan Kinnell is a great channel. You guys should check out RK Outpost. He does some great content. So does OG Star Wars. Ambassador as well. Annihilus B, I have seen him on several streams. I haven't really seen his content, but he's a great streamer when he's on streams and whatnot. But yeah, also Jade Shadow, or Mara Jade from Jade Shadow. She does some great stuff too. She handles pop culture media and whatnot. But yes, that is going to be the video for today, folks. It isn't going to be a long live stream. I just wanted to give my live review, and I wanted to give the channel update that I won't be doing the versus stream this week. It is canceled completely, kaput, dead, because it just did not garner as much interest as I hoped it would have. So I will be thinking of other versus stream topics. If you guys have a idea for a versus stream, feel free to let me know. You can reach me on Twitter at Orange Hat Reviews. Look me up. You should be able to find me. If you know me on Facebook, feel free to message me on Facebook with an idea of of a versus stream. I absolutely love connecting with my followers and my subscribers. I give shout outs every time. I do my best to stay humble, because that is the best way to maintain the respect once you get it. And take it easy, Happy Dino. So yes, folks, I am going to wrap it up here. Thank you for dropping in. Happy Dino, Tubian, Crack Skull Media, J God, Jeff B. I believe J God was in here. Well, if he was not, oh well. But I thank him anyway. Soul Assassin is also probably would have been in here too, but he's probably a little bit busy. But thank you to everyone who showed up. Orange Hat Badge. Yeah. Anyway, folks, thank you for stopping by. And for anybody catching this on the replay, y'all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts on what you thought of Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie. If you have seen it. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you do. It is a great movie. Anyway, folks, that is going to be the video. This has been Orange Hat Reviews, and I want you all to stay humble. Take it easy.